Welcome back. I'm back. Well, I've never left, haven't I? Well, for the past several recordings, I've been really insecure. I can't say that I'm going to be the most secure. I don't want to even begin with talking about this. Feel better now. I'm going to proceed into what I'm going to talk about and forget that I ever, mentioned it to begin with. Okay. So, let's talk today about the Sun square Neptune. What is this transit about? Well, this transit is a one where clarity gets looked at under the microscope and it gets brought up for all of us to see. But do we actually see it? Are we actually aware of that clarity? Or are we just in a fog and in a kind of a dark place, kind of an unclear place where we're not seeing things as they clearly are? Because Sun square Neptune can put the fog over things like our image, what we want to present ourselves as, our identity, etc., etc. So, this transit begs the question, are we going to fall into unconscious tendencies of deluding ourselves, or are we going to look at ourselves honestly and improve as we really are? That's the question that we need to ask ourselves and evaluate during this time, because it's going to be a really nice show on the 25th of June when this aspect is exact. So, this aspect between the Sun square Neptune, and squares, by the way, in astrology, are 90-degree aspects between two signs of the same mode, cardinal, fixed, or mutable. And they are 3 signs apart from each other. So the Sun is in Cancer, Neptune is in Aries, so 3 signs apart. And so these signs, sort of don't get along, because squares are difficult aspects. It represents a tension. Two are very different. The two are it's kind of like a match, like they're fighting each other. But the positive aspect of squares is because it creates a tension. The feeling with squares is a tension, but it forces us to look at that tension and actually respond to it. Actually do something because we feel a tension. Actually do something because we feel that kind of tension in our bones of what we're experiencing. So, we're feeling the tension, we're living the tension out. And so when we feel that tension, we want to respond accordingly to whatever tension that we feel, to whatever tension is going on. So, with Sun square Neptune, I'm going to get into this particular tension between these two planets. So I'm going to go very in depth with discussing this aspect in a little bit of this video and all the sort of aspects I'm going to break down. This is a collective video. Tune in for the 12 sign video coming up tomorrow for all 12 zodiac signs and how they'll all be impacted by this transit. Squares represent action. Best they give a sense of tension. But then they, create action. Then they give a sort of a call to action, so to speak. So, squares. Alright, so this aspect is exact. June 25th, 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Adjust for your time zone to see when this aspect is exact for you. Tune in for my short, by the way, coming up on the 25th of June. I do believe, I believe it's coming up on the 25th. I discuss this aspect, and I sort of summarize what it's all about. I sort of summarize that it's about perfectionism versus self-improvement, and look at yourself honestly. And so I sort of go through that there. And so I'm going to get to that toward the end of this episode. So, And I discussed it on a live stream a couple of nights ago, so you can go back to the live stream tab on my channel and check out the live stream where I discussed astrology for the individual. I kind of just give you a little bit of overview of the series of videos that I'm going to be making, starting with this one discussing the astrology from now up until the 30th. The 30th will be where I'll give the 12 sign readings, potentially, probably. Giving the 12 sign readings for all 12 signs for the next month, July 2026, basically. So, now, this aspect happens at 4 degrees and 24 minutes. The sun is in Cancer at 4 degrees, and Aries is in, Neptune is in Aries at 4 degrees. Now, if the sun is our vitality, it represents our ego, our own personal will, our own personal sense of identity, our personal sense of pride about ourselves, our personal sense of, I know who I am and I'm clear on who I am. So think about that. The sun is clarity on who you truly are. The sun shines bright. It wants to shine bright and be very, very big and loud and take up the skies and do all this stuff. Do all this stuff. But when it comes into a difficult aspect with Neptune, when Neptune enters the picture, when Neptune enters the picture, it is the planet of illusion, disillusion, lack of clarity, dreams. It can also be art, fantasy, but mainly it's very, very foggy, unclear energy. You have rose-colored glasses on. You will easily be more deceived under the influence of Neptune. Neptune puts the fog machine on wherever it goes. So you can imagine, these two coming together, and the translation is like, are you really clear on who you are? It's really this really begs the question. So, delving in. So the sun is in Cancer right now, asking us to prioritize our home and family life. It is asking us to be nurturing, to be nourishing, to be home felt, to be heartfelt, to be very, very in our own sense of our bodies and feeling at home within ourselves, feeling at home within our own skin. Are we truly taking care of ourselves? Are we truly nurturing ourselves? Are we truly giving ourselves the love and attention and care that we need to give ourselves on an emotional level? Are we truly restricting ourselves and working too hard and, doing all that? And because the shadow side of Capricorn is like restricting itself from its feelings and certain emotional pleasures and giving into the emotions. But Cancer at best is very, very highly emotional and very, sensitive and very, very caring and warm. And the sun in Cancer really puts the focus on our instincts, on our gut. That's the kind of focus for that. And then Neptune in Aries, which had entered way back January 27th of this year. And I have a whole other set of videos on Neptune in Aries. The earlier videos in this podcast, you can go back and check them out. Neptune in Aries, the focus of Neptune in Aries. And remember, we had the Sun-Neptune conjunction back on March 22nd of this year, which I have other videos for that in this podcast. You can go check them out also. So Neptune in Aries puts the focus on, are we really being true to our identity and who we are? And are we fighting for the spiritual principles that we need to fight and advocate for? But we're looking at the low road of Neptune in Aries because it's a square. So the low road of Neptune in Aries is unconscious anger, unconscious battle, unconscious war, not feeling conscious of what drives us towards fighting and battle and anger and aggression, and then doing it with like racing in a car and then not being self-aware to know that what you're doing with crashing other cars is a bad thing. You're being perfectly, like, it can be this lack of self-awareness, this lack of consciousness about your anger and your aggression, and it can be Neptune is your blind spot, Neptune is your unconscious. And, but at best, you are believing in yourself. And at best, you are assertive. And at best, you are fighting for higher ideals, higher spiritual ideals with the courage and confidence that Aries has. That about that sign, it's remarkable. So, that's Neptune and Aries. And then Cancer can be really, really moody and overly emotional, can sort of be a mother to everyone and not take care of itself, not turn all of its nurturing energy onto itself. That's the shadow side of Cancer. This square puts a focus on our own emotions. And are we allowing our own emotions to get out of control? Are we becoming very, very temperamental with Cancer and Aries? Are we just being very, very fighting and aggressive and angry? Are we really over-idolizing our own identities so much that we're forgetting to be vulnerable, forgetting to nurture ourselves, forgetting to also take care of others and have a focus and have a sort of mindset of others around us in our own life? So are we failing to step into that? Really? Are we really, really living that out are we living that out in that kind of way? So that's kind of the Cancer Neptune energy that I just want to say, that I just want to delve into there. But delving into what I want to say here. One of the downsides of now we're talking about the Sun square Neptune transit in general. So I sort of talked about what it meant in the different signs. I'm going to generalize it. So, Sun square Neptune, this transit brings about this feeling of this feeling of like feeling drained, with ourselves, feeling really, really drained, just feeling depleted, feeling like we have little energy to give off of. Well, we need to take care of ourselves. We need to fill up our cup. We need to nurture ourselves. We need to do all these things. And this transit is saying, fill up your cup. So, are we feeling drained by the outside world? Are we feeling drained and pulled down by others' emotions, others' emotional temperament, others, others, what they have to offer to us that is emotional? Are we getting drained and sucked down by energy vampires or others' emotions, or those who suck the life and energy and emotional nurturing and vitality out of us? Are we drained by life? Are we drained by the fact that sometimes that life can suck the life out of us? This life can suck the life out of us. Are we feeling drained by our responsibilities, our duties, or whatever area of life that you feel drained with? Think of the 12 houses, the 12 different areas of life. Thinking of what area of life you have to be drained, that you are drained with. Really considering, is it your 6th house? which means that you're feeling drained by your work, your health, your daily routines? Is it your seventh house, your relationships, your committed partnerships? What is the area of life that you feel drained in? That's what I want to first kind of preface this by saying, and I want to sort of introduce you to this way of thinking about it. So, you can find it very, very difficult at this time to feel excited about, or inspired, or motivated to work. This transit is not a time where you're going to be feeling like, wow, all my responsibilities, I can just handle one after the other, and I'm just so motivated to just go out into the world and do my taxes and do my get this project done, or take care of the house, or do whatever. No. This is a time where you're probably going to be feeling kind of introverted, kind of wanting to go inside yourself, kind of like, I don't want to be bothered right now. Like the Lord of Neptune energy is like being so sensitive to just all the colors and all the nest. Like, I don't want to be bothered right now. So that's the kind of thing that can come into sort of the picture here with Neptune energy, is like not feeling like you want to be bothered, like you want to be disturbed, like you want alone time, you want time in solitude, you want time in silence and reflection. So certain events or other people may cause you to feel a little bit disillusioned. And I'm going to look up that word, because that word is so prominent to this aspect. I'm going to look up the word disillusionment here. Feeling lack of just faith, feeling very disenchanted, very, very disappointed, being shown when truth gets rid of illusions. You thought something was true, you thought something was a certain way, you thought something was going along a certain way, and was a certain way, but then this truth comes and you're like, whoa. Now it hits you, and it hits you hard. And that's kind of what Neptune transits can feel like. Especially when Saturn is involved. We could have felt that sometime during the Saturn-Neptune conjunction. Saturn is the one that brings you to the harsh reality of how it is. Like Saturn can be kind of the Debbie Downer, womp, down to, negative reality. Bringing you down to what's real. What's, 3D. What is actually realistic. Sort of breaks your spirit a little bit. Sort of really, really makes you feel down in the dumps. Like, wow, this harsh reality really, really got me. Boom. So that's disillusionment. Now, you may also look at other people, and you may be in a little bit of fantasy about others and yourself. Both and. You may be naive. You may be naive. You may be not knowing the truth of who they truly are. So, where are you overly trusting? Where does the trust need to be earned? Like, trust is something that is earned, respect is given, okay? So that is sort of the fact about it. So, all right. Now. The quality here with this is being naive. Where you're over-idolizing people. And You can kind of see the good and the light in everybody. That's a beautiful quality, and I'm not putting that quality down. However, discernment and discrimination, you cannot underestimate the quality of that. Really, really tune in to people's motives, their motivations, the psychology, their emotional temperament, their whatever. And what are they really about? What are they really trying to do? What are they really trying to seek? What are they really after when it comes to what they want from you? Do they want your money? Do they want to, deceive you or, give you a deal off? Or do they really mean well for you? Like, what are their true motivations and intentions? Oh my goodness, I should know this like the back of my hand because I'm a Scorpio South Node. But what are their true motives and motivations? Ripped off, fraud, those kind of things are more likely during hard Neptune aspects, especially to the Sun and Mercury. It's like, don't go into a jewelry store and see this beautiful piece of jewelry, and you're like, that is so beautiful. You hear the price and it's like really, really cheap. The person just very, very assures you, but if you tune into your intuition, maybe you feel like something's not right here. And then if you don't trust your intuition, that's where logic can hold you back. Logic can be a great asset. However, it holds you back. Okay? It can hold you back. Because your intuition is your inner wisdom, and it knows very, very deeply, what is right. Without even having to think about it, without even having to make it logic. So, at best with this aspect, you can tune in more into your intuition. Neptune is intuition. Neptune is the invisible. So, being very, very discerning, not over-idealizing people in situations, not putting them on a pedestal, not, oh, they're so glamorous, and oh, they're so perfect, and they're so this and that. But then you miss what's really going on. What's really, truly going on behind the scenes, what's really going on in their mind, their psychology, and you miss the truth of what's going on so that you don't tune into what you need to tune into in order to feel good and solid and set and have a sense of, I know the truth. I know the truth of what I'm getting myself into here. I know the truth of this situation. I know the truth of this person. I'm clear on it. So there's this tendency to over-idolize. And discussing it even further, not seeing where they need to improve, not seeing what's wrong with them, and the other thing about over-idolizing others that I want to discuss here is that all these standards that you have, all these expectations of fulfilling them fulfilling all these expectations that you set out for yourself, and then they don't meet those things. Like, oh darn, why didn't I trust my intuition? Why didn't they show me from the first place? So that's kind of what it can be if you are not tuning into your own inner wisdom, to the vibes, to what feels right, etc. So really trust your intuition very, very strongly at this time. Certain things may not be clear at this time. So you may get taken advantage of by others. It sort of goes right along with this. There was this film, I was seeing the Starman film. I mentioned this before in a previous episode. I was actually watching it the other day. This woman was walking around, in a town with her friend. Saw a poor person on the streets. There's a pregnant mother. She was like, I want to give money to this person. And the person was very, very welcoming towards, the person was very, very open and receptive towards it. And then she was like, walking away from the person, she was like, oh, I really want to help this person out. I want to invite her into my home. And then this friend was like, very, very discerning, like, you've done enough. I don't think I would do this. It's not a good idea. And so she couldn't help herself, and she was like, I want to be a good Samaritan. I want to bring this person into my home. So she invited her into her home, and it wasn't at all what she expected. Instead of just this graceful pregnant mother, she was a complete and utter mess. The house got messy. She dressed in a robe and made itself like her house. She, ate the person's ramen noodles. Did all this stuff. Claimed that, oh, I'm eating all this because of my pregnancy cravings. Well, that should have been a sign right then and there. Went into the restroom, had something in her stomach that made her pregnant, took it out, and then she wasn't pregnant, and then she was like, I live with you, and I'm your best friend, and so, then the police came, and then they had a very, very difficult time believing that this guest was actually a guest in her home, and they thought that she made it very, very convincing for them that, oh, I am actually the one living in this home. I am actually the one living in this person's house, with them, knowing them, in this kind of friend-like way. And so then something happened where they got to court, the person got taken away, and boom. Could have all been avoided if this person only just did not allow herself to get taken advantage of. So I tell that story for a reason. I want to paint this picture. It's just one example, but it can be in the smallest kind of ways. Like notice where in the smallest ways you're getting taken advantage of. Others are exploiting you, if that's the word for it, for what you have to give it, and, etc. So, alrighty. So, the next point that I want to make here, that let's talk physical health. You may, during this time, you may be tuned into how vulnerable your physical body is to physical symptoms, to physical, whatever. Certain feelings, certain sensations, certain ways that food affects your body, certain ways that sunlight affects your body. And you're more tuned into how your mind works, how it operates when you take substances. The downside of this is falling into addictive habit patterns, drugs, alcohol, etc. So, you do want to be mindful that you're not falling into this stuff, that you're not falling into these patterns during this time of, like these, these drugs and this alcohol and this and that can really, really make you very, very not in the body. So you want to be very, very attuned to that. Now, you also want to consider being honest. Being honest is very, very important. Be honest with yourself. And be honest when it comes to... I'm going to talk about the other part of this. I'm going to talk about the self part of this. So, because there is about the self after all. So, be honest in your interactions with others. Tune into. No, wait. Make sure that you are understanding them and they're understanding you. Make sure that you're being transparent and perfectly honest and perfectly open about what you are saying and not, holding it in or anything like that. Withholding truth. Make sure that you're transparently speaking that truth. of what needs to be communicated, speaking that truth of what wants to come out, speaking that truth of all those kind of things. Very, very important. Making that truth a reality. Speaking the truth that you may be afraid to say, but getting it out, getting it off your chest, being honest. I think that once you do get the truth off your chest, sigh of relief is going to come to you, because it's like, I finally released this. I finally kept holding it in. I finally let this truth go. And so you don't want to lie. It's not a good time for lying, because you may be tuned into how others lie, how others deceive you, how others don't tell the truth. So being honest in your interactions with others is what I would ask you to consider at this time, as being honest, being transparent, not sucking it in. So, yeah. So, I'm looking at myself and going, wow, there's something that I need to tell somebody in my life that I've held off for quite a few weeks, and I need to really, really make it clear to this person what I truly feel and think about them. And at some point or another, the truth has to come out. Something's got to give. So I think I may bring it up at this day and time, possibly, maybe, because it's about time. And this aspect is going on. I don't want to withhold truth. I don't want to be in the illusion of truth. So I am going to tell this person the truth. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be transparent. This is my wake-up call. This is my, my mind saying it. So when I see this person next, I'm going to tell them the truth. And I'm not going to hold in the truth. And maybe I will make myself closer to them once I get the truth out. And let's see how they respond. So, okay. So, alrighty. So, but you may get deceived by others. Others may deceive you. I mean, I may very well deceive this person. He may have thought that I really, really liked what he had to give, and, all those things like that, really liked his content, this and that, but nope, I don't. And, you're probably like, I didn't see that coming. Well, I'm sorry to have to break the truth to you, but, there's certain things that I like, and certain things I don't like, and I'm going to be honest about it, since we know each other, and since we really, really like each other, and since we're pals, quote unquote, since we, you were so aligned with my values, and so, perfect for me, etc., so good for me, I'm going to tell you the truth, because I think that it's safe to not withhold the truth. I think it's safe to say the truth openly and honestly. So I am going to say it. I'm going to get it out. I'm going to probably, look this person in the eye and tell them and get it off my chest. Done and done and done. Okay. So, so this is good energy here for anything artistic or charitable also. So, good energy for art, painting, sculpture. That's how you can really, really use this energy, is through the artistic endeavors, through the artistic modes, through, painting, as I listed the examples of before, where you're really, really feeling like in the right brain. The right brain is your creative side, more creative side. So you're channeling that from the higher realms. And what Pisces does, Pisces is ruled by Neptune, is it channels this creativity from the higher realms. And so anything artistic or anything that you're giving, Neptune is also compassion and wanting to give compassionately to others and wanting to give selflessly and serve others in a kind of way. So Neptune is the energy of selfless service, and so is Virgo. But Pisces is a more spiritual ruled by Neptune. So at best, we can be so generous and so giving. So anything like that can be a very, very good endeavor for this time. The thing with this aspect that I want to discuss is, you're not clear on, let me think. So today's the 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th. Yeah, this aspect is actually exact on the day that I'm going to be meeting this person. So I'm going to take full advantage. So the 25th is a Thursday. I'm seeing them on a Thursday. So being clear on who you are and what you want, what you desire, what you need. So, and I think that telling the truth is going to be very, very liberating for me and very, very empowering for me. And this person will understand me, not I tell them the truth. And we won't have an argument or anything like that. But, like, I can guarantee it because I know this person well enough at this point. So anyway, enough about them and enough about that. So, not being clear on who you are and what you want. I said being clear on who you are. Well, that's the challenge. That's what needs to be worked on. So not being clear. There's this feeling of not being clear on what it is that you want and what you want to go after, what you want to experience. And so there is this not being clear on who you are, your identity, and what you want to put out into the world, what you want to show the world, what you want to prove to the world, the desires that you want to show the world. So, you're not clear on this identity. You're not clear on this part of who you are. Could also feel tired. Could also feel a weakness, a lack of vitality, a lack of energy, feeling very, very drained. What you want, and here's the thing with, is separating yourself out between yourself and your own identity versus what the other person wants for you on a soul ego level. Okay. So what you want is mixed in with others' expectations. And who knows, maybe saying the truth won't be as bad as I think it will be. I have a feeling it'll be like that. So, what you want is sort of blended with other people's expectations of you with all that going on. So, it's sort of, where are you allowing other people's expectations and desires to get in the way of, what you personally want, what you, in your own identity, or are you true to your personal desires? Are you true to what you want authentically? So, that's really the question to consider. So, it could be in career, it could be in relationship, it could be whatever area of life. Do you tend to people please? Prioritizing others' needs and wants and what they have going on over your own needs. Being selfless to its detriment. Not taking care of yourself, not filling up your own cup, not, doing all these kind of things. It's this kind of quality where it's like, you're compromising yourself. Are you really separating it out? Are you really separating out what others want and what you want, and having a clear parameter around one versus the other, or are they just blended? So, that's what we need to look at also, is where we please others, where we overgive to others. And so, where we're not being true to our own values, not being true to what we want, not what we believe in, not what we really value within ourselves. And there could be something in our lives that we thought was set in stone. But it could show itself as something that you didn't think that it previously was. Like, you're going along in a certain path, you think that the mirage is actually water. You go closer, oh, it's not water, it was just a mirage. Neptune rules mirages. So there you go. Like, I'm thinking of that song by Sarah Brightman. Do 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 do. So sing to me a song of life's massage. Do 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 a song true love's mirage. So anyway, that just came to mind. And if you haven't heard that song, it's Harem by Sarah Brightman, that album. And Sarah Brightman is one of my the singers that I listen to. I think they'll find her in my music channel listings on my homepage. So channel list on my homepage. So anyway, so I don't exactly know the lyrics of that song, but where you're like going along and you're like on this path, and it's like, it's not what I thought that it was. It's not what I thought it was previously. It's just not. It's not. It's not. I'm disappointed. I was deceived. So that could be a case where thought something was set, and then you see it's a totally different thing than you expect. Then it just changes, and you thought the road was straight, but then it cracks, then the road curves, and there's sinkholes, and it's not like. Then the uncertainty comes. Then the change happens. Then it really reveals itself to you in really, really strong ways. So, now, things that you can do to really, really make the most of this energy is, well, I listed before, art, charitable things, but also what can really, really support you is grounding at this time. Grounding your energy, centering your energy, meditating on just the earth, what you want to meditate on. It can be, meditation helps to ground you. Dropping into stillness, being in still, maybe having I have a little meditation pill. I could put that outside in the backyard. Maybe not. But sitting in stillness, like really, really sitting with yourself and remembering, like meditation and journaling and those practices, not just maybe, going outside in nature, spending time alone, just sitting outside in nature, like really, really sitting with yourself enough to really, really listen to yourself, listen to your body, listen to your heart, get clear on who you are, and self-reflect. Go into self-reflection. And, looking at how you think, what drives your actions, knowing your motivations behind why you do what you do, and making the best decision moving forward. It's linked to self-awareness. So, okay, so getting clear on who you are. That's really what this is about. That's huge. Getting clear on who you are. Now, when you get clear on who you are, this is the next step in the road. When you get clear on who you are, there's this split. I mentioned this on 2 previous videos, including the short that's coming out on the 25th, you're going to see. I talked about this in the live stream 2 nights ago. But there's 2 terms here. There's 2 paths. The first path is where you are improving things. Improving things. Looking at your it says here, your health. How you can be more capable. Doing things to improve. Doing things to make things better. Showing that as you improve, you love yourself as you are, that you really go hold space for yourself. And you're like, I love myself. So therefore, I am choosing to improve. I love myself, so I'm choosing to help make changes in my life to make me more healthy. I'm looking at this thing that needs to change in my life, and I'm going, okay, if I were not to love myself, I would keep this exact same thing. I wouldn't make any changes. But I love myself, I care about myself, so therefore I'm going to make my life the best it can be. I'm going to make my life better. I'm going to look at myself honestly and turn this around. That's the first path. Now the second path is like heaven and hell. Think of heaven and hell. Think of the 2 gates. One is not like clouds and airy-fairy and this and that, but one is very, very solid, very, very, like it's kind of like a meadow that you're walking through, like a field, like a meadow, like set with like a house and like people in their, old American clothing, cottages, chopping wood, carrying water, very, very solid. But then you go to the other road, to the left, I want to say, and it's a completely different story. Instead of the self-loving quality of self-improvement that comes in with this particular term, that you go over to that road, instead what you're doing is you are taking that self-improvement and you are twisting it into something not healthy and not loving, because what you're doing is you're saying, I'm not good enough. As soon as you put that dialogue in your head, as soon as you put that negative dialogue of like, and the thing about self-improvement is that you're using positive dialogue. You're thinking positive things about yourself. Thinking positive terms about yourself, that you're on good terms with yourself. You're maintaining a good connection with yourself, where you're kind to yourself. And you're saying, I'm good enough. I am worthy of improvement. And I choose to improve. I choose to look at this honestly, humbly, and objectively, and choose to make it better. Change it. But the other road is where you are saying, I'm not good enough, and it's so different because the energies are so different. One energy is really, really solid and really just grounded and conscious and steady and safe and secure. The other is tight, high-strung, anxiety-ridden, neurotic, obsessive. And instead of the loving yourself and self-improvement, you're constantly, maybe you're worried about doing something because you're not going to get it perfect, and that the other road is basically, the word for it is perfectionism. And what you're doing is you're obsessing over this detail, like it's not good enough, and so you're constantly trying to, improve this over and over and over and over and over, and it's not getting, and you're not satisfied. Perfectionism is a bottomless pit. You will never be satisfied with it, and you're just improving it, and not stopping, and not just saying enough is enough. It's not good enough. Oh, I do something here, I take something out. It's not good enough. Oh, I take something out here, I put something in. And it's this constant, raging tiger that'll never be satisfied with its food. It's like this, we're going into this cave, and then you're cutting off the one snake head, and the two grow back in its place, kind of thing, and you're continually cutting. It's this kind of cycle where it's like this obsessive thing where you're just obsessive about it, and you're OCD about it, trying to get it perfect, and obsessed with it until you reach this impossible standard of perfection, and then the standard goes out the window, and then you abuse the thing. You abuse it. Because you set yourself to, the low road, perfectionism can be, setting yourself to high standards and all this and that, but if you set yourself to, on the other side of that, is something very, very dark. Where it's the shadow side of the sign of Virgo, where you are, in a loop of setting high standards and never feeling like you're there, never feeling adequate, never feeling good enough, never feeling loving with yourself. Self-improvement is a loving thing. So which road do you choose to look down? Both are looking at yourself honestly. But one is more loving, the other is not. It's all in the approach. It's all in the approach. It's all in the energy. It's all in the state of being. So which state of being do you choose to go towards? So that's something to consider here. So look at yourself honestly. Don't get into, deluding, deceiving yourself and over-idealizing yourself, thinking that yourself is so perfect and so great and not flawed at all, not needing to improve at all, and just, la 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 la, everything's great. No. Be self-aware, look at yourself honestly, look at what needs to improve, look at what you need to change and make better, and do in your life to live a more humble, truthful, honest, cleaner life. You want to live a clean life with this aspect. Now, maybe there could be some ego deaths, maybe the vanishing mirror could dissolve on the beach, where you're walking around the beach, you're looking in your ego and look at me. I'm so beautiful. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all? And you're just seeing, the mirror of yourself, and looking at how beautiful you are. Looking at how special you are. And you think, oh, I'm just so beautiful. I'm so great. And you're not seeing yourself truthfully. With love. Self-improvement, not perfectionism. With love. You want to be humble and you want to be objective. And you want to improve, but not perfectionism. Okay, that's the split here. So this video that I was seeing about the Sun square Neptune, why perfectionism is a good thing. Guess what? That's where you're in the wrong, because it's not. Self-improvement is basically the kind of... No. Excuse me. Self-improvement is good. Perfectionism is bad. Get that straight in your mind. Get that straight in the mind. Those people who say, screw your head on straight and do all this. So, be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself to be coming to a place of clarity about yourself, a place of better honesty with who you truly are and what you need to improve upon. So, anyway, that is all that I want to discuss for the Sun square Neptune, transit in general. Tomorrow, I'm going to be giving you your 12th sign forecast for this aspect, giving you things to think about, giving you things to consider with all 12 signs, you know, how they need to grow, how can they grow and evolve with this transit. I'll be giving you readings there, and so anyway, hope that you enjoyed this episode of the Cosmic Sky Podcast. If you found this interesting or entertaining, please subscribe and like and do all this if you so wish to, because I'd love you to not miss out on all the stuff that I have going on over on my channel. And until next time, I will see you in the next episode.